Get close to the cookies.
Good cookie.
I'll be out of the way in a moment.
On your way?
No.
Oh, yay! Oh, yay! Oh, glorious day! Gracious dignitaries, area town residents, children of all ages, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this very significant and historic event. Charles Dickens, in a different context, in The Tale of Two Cities, coined the phrase, recalled to life. How appropriate a phrase, recalled to life, as today we gather to open the Annapolis Royal Community Hub in what was our much beloved but unused Annapolis Royal Academy building, now transformed into a vibrant multi-use community facility. At its closure as a school, many considered it doomed. This transformation illustrates that the same Annapolis Royal community fighting spirit shown first in the late 1800s and into the early 1900s, when Fort Anne of the day came under the real threat of private development. The town credo became and remained to this day, it shall not be lost to future generations. Our community hub clearly illustrates that partnerships created around a common objective achieves great wonders. Our partnership involved all levels of government, a private sector builder, and above all, the faith, determination, and significant investment by the town to see it happen. Sincere thanks must go to all the partners for enabling a successful private sector residential condominium, a new library with associated leisure use space, an auditorium and gymnasium facility, and the area food distribution center, all within the former Academy School building. With this opening today as a vibrant hub, the former empty Annapolis Royal Academy building has now been refilled with people and has now truly been recalled to life. Proclaimed this 15th day of February in this year of grace 2019 by me, Peter Crofton Davis, town crier for the town of Annapolis Royal. God bless a free and united Canada. Long live the Queen!
Bravo, bravo!
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Val. Happy birthday, by the way. It was Val's birthday.
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day, isn't that remarkable? So here we are. And before I say anything further, let me please acknowledge that we are on the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq. We're finally here for the grand opening of what is truly a remarkable building, of which I will speak more of in a moment. But to begin with, it's my very great pleasure to introduce our Member of Parliament, Colin Fraser, to be our first speaker today.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's certainly an honor to be here. It's always wonderful to be in beautiful Annapolis Royal, just one of the great communities that we have, a historic community in our part of the world. Thank you, Mayor McDonald, for having us here today, and for everyone for coming out. It really is an exciting day to see all of the work that has gone into this wonderful building and the way that this will serve the community and its residents for years to come. I want to also note that today, being February 15th, is Flag Day. And we should all be proud to be Canadians, of course, but when we get a chance to be here in a historic place like Annapolis and gather with our community and celebrate each other and the building that is the Academy, with the historic ties for everyone in the area, and then see how it can be repurposed into a building that is going to be thriving, and I understand has already seen many, many visitors and will serve us all so well for many years to come. And so to be proud as Canadians on Flag Day, when we think of the maple leaf and all it represents of bringing people together, we can be so proud that we're officially launching the opening of this building on Flag Day, February 15th, and back in 1965 when it first flew over the Peace Tower in Ottawa, how proud Canadians are to know that we are all united. I'll admit I've driven by this place numerous times wondering what the finished project would look like, and it is my first time in here. And I gotta be honest, I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen so far. This is really spectacular. It's a beautiful and welcoming space that you've created. Over a year ago, I was able to announce Government of Canada support for this very hub, together with Premier McNeil, Mayor MacDonald, Warden Timothy Habinski, who's here today, and Annapolis Royals former CAO, I guess, Gregory Barr, who's with us today, and we wish him all the best in his new endeavor. When we announced support for this project, as the Government of Canada working, of course, alongside the community and the province, I had no idea how spectacular this space would end up being. So, but obviously today being here, I can see how important that commitment from our government was. Strong communities are those that have a vibrant, innovative business sector, modern infrastructure, good jobs, clean and inclusive growth, skilled people, and a thriving middle class. I believe Annapolis Royal has all of those things in spades, and it really truly is a wonderful community to live, work, retire, raise a family, and do so with friends and good neighbors. The federal government is investing in infrastructure today to make Canada a better place now and to build the communities we want for future generations. Since I announced support for this project, the Government of Canada, through the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, and I'm glad Brianna and Lisa are here joining us today, and thank them for their contributions towards this project. The contribution of, an additional contribution to the original one made of $125,000 has been made to this project, bringing the total Government of Canada contribution to $380,240.
Bravo.
And obviously it's important that money spent by the government be put to good uses, but that is an investment in the community of Annapolis and its people. Our government did that because it believes in the ambition and creative ingenuity of our region and the people here in Annapolis. Now this bright, open space houses a modern library to foster reading and learning, and it is also home to an auditorium, gymnasium, an innovation lab, which I haven't visited yet, and I'm sure I won't know how to use most of the equipment in there, but I'll be having a look at that in a moment. Spaces like this one make it possible for everyone to access business and community resources to help boost creative thinking and facilitate continued economic growth. They improve our quality of life and attract new businesses and residents to the area. Because if you can work from anywhere in today's digital economy, I can't think of a better place you would want to stay and work than right here in beautiful Annapolis Royal.
Bravo. Hey.
Now, there is a library of opportunity here thanks to those of you who have worked so hard to bring this project to fruition, and I can't thank you enough for all of the commitment that this community and all of its people have made to this place. I look forward to driving through and visiting the town in the future to see what developments arise next for Annapolis Royal. I gotta tell you, there's a lot going on in this wonderful town of yours, and I'm just so pleased and honored to represent you as your federal member of parliament. Congratulations on this wonderful building and all it will mean to the community and all of its residents for many years to come. Thank you all and all of you.
Now, I was very pleased to see Warden Habinski here, and I wondered if you might just, if you have, come and say a few words, because the county of Annapolis, the municipality of the county of Annapolis, this regional library serves not only the residents of the town of Annapolis Royal, but the whole region. And so with the support of the county of Annapolis as well and others, we are standing in the midst of this remarkable building. So, Warden Habinski.
Thank you very much, Mayor MacDonald. It's a pleasure to be here today. The greatest strength that we have in rural Nova Scotia is our ability to be connected with each other's lives. That is what sets us apart. That's the basis for our culture of volunteerism. It's the basis for a project like this. A community comes together and they develop a facility that supports community programming, lifelong learning, community innovation, physical activity, and we do it by coming together and pooling our efforts. The municipality of the County of Annapolis is very proud to have supported this project. We are delighted to see this development here in Annapolis Royal. It's to the benefit of the town, it's to the benefit of the county as well. Everybody who's been involved in this should be very, very proud. This facility is marvelous. It will be a benefit to the region for decades to come. Thanks so much.
Bravo.
What an incredible town. Truly, what an incredible town. There's a can-do spirit in our community that never ceases to amaze. The town of Annapolis Royal's new community hub is a wonderful example of that spirit in action, with community partners coming together with the support of all levels of government to achieve the remarkable, beyond all expectations. What we originally conceived as a new and larger location for our town library ultimately blossomed into a truly inspirational community space. On behalf of the Town Council and the staff at Town Hall, I want to thank Town Hall staff past and present, the former Town Council, and community members who spearheaded this important and wonderful project. And a special thank you to everyone who graciously contributed their time and money, without which the vision of this important community space would not have been realized. We can all be proud of what has been achieved, a remarkable space for our community to gather and further enhancing the truly remarkable quality of life we enjoy in the town of Annapolis Royal. Now, as the town crier suggested in his presentation, in his cry, this remarkable old building, and many of us that are in this room are alumni from this regional high school, having gone here years ago, and the cafeteria looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Yeah. But I do understand, so we've had some interest in the old kitchen, so we might have a cafeteria, or at least a cafe back to this space. But this old academy, this regional academy, I'd like to acknowledge, and I don't know if Tim Tanner of Tanner Developments is in the room, but I certainly do want to acknowledge him and his company for the redevelopment of 2/3 of this building into condominium development. So we've increased the population by the town of Annapolis Royal by almost 25%, which is fabulous. But more than that, and as you can see, this incredible, so this idea to bring this library here from its cramped quarters in the old town hall, although some people are very affectionate about it and miss it, fair enough. The plan really was to just occupy the old cafeteria space, but there's a gymnasium above us, a very actively used gymnasium. And so it became very clear that the original plans might not really work. So for those of you who've lived on the West Coast, if you hear thunder, that's not an earthquake, that's pickleball. All right? But we were in a bit of a dilemma as to what to do, how to move forward. And let me first apologize and pass the regrets of our Premier, who could not be here today, but also the regrets of Heather McCormick, who couldn't be here, the president of the condo board, and who had an instrumental part in the development of this. And why I mention her in particular is because she had a moment, a spark of brilliance. As we're all sitting here wondering what we're going to do, she said, and this all used to be old washrooms, showers and washrooms down here. She said, let's just turn it around. So suddenly the library was over there, out from underneath the gymnasium, and all of this started to just grow and blossom and develop into this incredible place. Now, because it's a community hub, because it's a community space, there was space occupied here for years by our local food bank. Now, 70+ families use that food bank to get by every month, and they occupy the space and come, their clients of the food bank come here every week, and we certainly weren't inclined in the least bit to displace anybody from this space. In fact, it was our plan all along to enhance the circumstances for the food bank. And so behind me, behind this wall, is an enhanced, expanded space for the food bank. And so their clients are coming here and using the facilities as well. And so, because we are a community, we are the sum of our parts. Those of us who do better than others and those of us who struggle, we're all together on this project. So it really can't be a community hub without all of that. There's program rooms. There's been talk about an innovation lab, and you really have to just poke your head in the door and just see that. It's truly remarkable. There was an article in the paper recently about it, and I think that we're going to be hearing lots of great things from our innovation lab. The library, what can you say about it? It's truly remarkable. And let me acknowledge Jost Architects for this beautiful design, this wonderful curved glass wall that just is so appealing and so incredible that our original vision for this space was trumped. That's a good word. In archaic language, that's a good word. It's truly remarkable. So, on that, which is the perfect segue as I point and talk about this incredible library, it's my very great pleasure to introduce the CEO of the Valley Regional Library, Anne-Marie Mathieu.
I'm not sure if I've happened to mention it, but Bill is a very difficult act to follow. Honored guests, on behalf of the Annapolis Valley Regional Library staff and board, I bring you our congratulations on this fantastic space. Round of applause. If I didn't have a broken arm, I'd be doing the happy dance. I can't begin to tell you how thrilled we are all for everyone and for this space. And what a space it's turned out to be. I think, Bill, you mentioned earlier that it's exceeded our wildest dreams, and I know it has for me. Thank you to the Friends. I know you're going to give some remarks. Thank you to the town for having the belief in the vision for this place and what it can and what it will mean to the citizens. Thank you to our government partners for the financial support rooted in the belief that libraries are the community hub. But how did we get here? Being a regional librarian, I have to give you a little history lesson. And we do have to go back a few years. In 1937, a library survey was made of the province and a recommendation made that library service be developed along regional lines. Then the war intervened. But in 47-48, the survey was brought up to date and work on the long-awaited project was begun in the Annapolis Valley in January 1949. The Annapolis Valley Regional Library was established in April of that year, and its headquarters was located in the District Community Center, now the Legion Building, in Annapolis Royal. So Annapolis Royal was an early adopter of regional library systems, both in the valley and in the province. By mid-May, we had opened 3 branches in Annapolis County, one being the Annapolis Royal branch. In 1952, both the headquarter office and the Annapolis branch relocated to the former entomological laboratory, Dominion Entomology Lab, on Grange Street. Fun fact, did anyone else know that, besides Wendy Trimper? Okay, in the early 1990s, an Annapolis Royal Friends of the Library group formed, and through their dedicated efforts and the support of the town, a space was renovated in the current town hall building to facilitate a larger and improved library. In 1994, the Annapolis Royal branch relocated from its shared space on Grange Street location to the town hall. In recent years, the formation of another dedicated and tireless Friends organization, combined with the continued support from the town, has resulted in a fantastic modern community library space in the Academy building, allowing the branch to relocate in November of 2018, and it's been full steam ahead since we've opened, and the performance measures, the statistics, the foot traffic are off the charts, and I think I can say with all honesty that the Annapolis Royal Library has become the flagship for the AVRL.
Hey.
Can I say that? Other speakers have articulated what the modern public library means to the community, so I'm not going to get into that too much. But when asked what place do libraries have in the modern world, I always respond with collections and connections. I like to synthesize it down to 2 simple words: connecting people to each other and connecting people to our collections and to the world of learning and literacy through our collections. However, when I look at this space, I think I need to add a couple more words to the mix: creation, conversation, collaboration, innovation, and inspiration. Because all these wonderful activities that are going to take place in these walls. Before I sign off, I would like to acknowledge the fantastic AVRL staff that have been critical in this wonderful project. Charlotte, where are you? Back there, Charlotte. Wendy Trimper. Angela Reynolds, where are you? Oh, right there. And of course, Dorothy and her fantastic team. Ken. Come on out. Sandy. Ken and Sandy, yes. The heart of the Annapolis Royal Library. Anyway, I probably just embarrassed them, so I'm in their bad books now.
Hey,
Well done, everybody. And again, well done to our partners in this project. On a personal level, is Greg Barr here? Yes. Oh, hi. Hello. Fantastic. It was a great project, I have to say. You are one of my favorite CAOs. So, this space epitomizes what the library is really all about. Just take a look around this room at the diversity of ages, and just congratulations and better days and even more fun stuff is ahead for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. So now I would like to invite Lillian Stewart, the president of the Friends of the Library, and Linda Moffat, the past president of the Friends of the Library.
Welcome. Lillian asked me to go first because I've been given the task of thanking many of you. In fact, I would say almost everybody I can see in this room who contributed to this wonderful project coming about. The Friends of the Library, as many of you know, have worked very hard towards bringing about an expansion of our old, well-loved, but well-worn library. And we worked with a number of partners over the last 5 years to bring about this incredible vision. And most of you, if not all of you, have very much been involved in that process. So my job is to convey the thanks of the Friends of the Library. Together, we have been able to raise $185,000 towards financing this wonderful. Now, I do have a list of special people that I would like to thank, and then Lillian actually will introduce our overall thanks to all of you. But let me get through the special thank yous that we, as the Friends of the Library, would like to make. First, we want to thank the Town Council of Annapolis Royal for your vision of a community hub built around a new library as part of this Academy redevelopment project. As Mayor Bill McDonald mentioned, two town councils, Mayor Bill McDonald, his predecessor, Michael Tompkins, and town CAO Greg Barr have all worked hard and long to realize this vision for the town. And their commitment to the Academy redevelopment and their commitment to the vision that the library belonged here has really made this day happen. And I want to say thank you to them. Second, and it's already been mentioned, but I must, on behalf of the Friends, mention it again, we acknowledge and thank the architects. Harry Jost, who's worked with the Friends group for 6 or 7 years on visioning what could be done to expand the library, and then who created this beautiful design for this new library space. And we want to also thank Heather Sprague, his associate, who worked with the Friends of the Library and the library staff in designing an efficient and beautiful library. Thank you very much to them. We also want to thank the federal government through the COA, Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agents, and Brianne, and our Member of Parliament, Colin Fraser, for their early engagement with this and generous support for this huge undertaking by our small community. Thank you very much. Now, my task really is to focus on the members of the community who contributed to the completion of this project. Too many for me to name here, but they are named here, and you'll hear about that in a moment from Lillian. But there are some critical and important donors that we do want to mention specially. First, I want to acknowledge and thank Peter and Jane Nicholson for their leadership donation. They helped launch our fundraising campaign with an early and very generous pledge financial pledge to the new library, in recognition that ARA, the old high school, was Peter's high school, his alma mater, and with the hope that part of their donation could be used to create a special place for young people in the library complex. And we're very pleased, they are very pleased, that part of their donation went to support the creation of the Innovation Lab. And Gary Walsh will invite you to visit that space in a moment. So we thank Peter and Jane for their generosity. Second, we want to acknowledge and thank Corinne Frantel, a longtime library supporter, who also made an early and very generous financial donation to the Library Expansion Fund created by the Friends Group. Her donation, in combination with a matching grant from the province Department of Communities, Cultures and Heritage, has funded the creation of the Annapolis room, which is the room to the left as you go into the main library. It's a quiet reading room and research room which houses the nonfiction and periodicals holdings of the library system. So thank you, Corinne, for your donation. Third, I want to acknowledge the county. The County of Annapolis made a very important leadership donation, an early and extremely generous grant to the Library Expansion Fund. And as they said, it was in recognition of the importance of the Annapolis Royal Library to the residents of Western Annapolis County. I just wanted to point out, as we did many times, including to the county, that 85% of our library branch card holders live in the county. So this is truly a county resource, and we thank them for their very generous support. And finally, I want to especially acknowledge and thank Wayne Boucher, truly a leadership donor, both for his gift of this incredibly wonderful painting that hangs here in the Commons, and for his leadership in organizing a permanent show of work of local children's book illustrators, which is on display in the children's section of the library now, and I invite you to have a look at that. But we thank Wayne for these beautiful additions to this space, and also his ongoing and long-term support of the Friends of the Library effort over the past 10 years. Thank you. And finally, we want to acknowledge and thank all of you, the many generous volunteers and donors who made personal and financial contributions, large and small, to this wonderful project. All your contributions are valued, and all have helped to create this beautiful space. As I look around today, I realize that pretty well everybody in this room made a significant contribution to the creation of this lovely community center, and the Friends of the Library want to thank you all. Recognizing that this is truly a community-wide achievement, the Friends of the Library commissioned a special donor recognition plaque to be hung in the Commons area down at the other end to name and thank all of the individuals, families, and organizations who have contributed to this project and thereby made it happen. And I'm very happy to invite Lillian now to come forward, the new president of the Friends of the Library, to say a few words about this very special donor recognition plaque, which is our way of saying thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Linda. You know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and honored guests, I must say that deciding how to recognize volunteers is not as easy as it would appear. It's such an obvious expression of thanks, in particular for a project as substantial as this. Our Donor Recognition Committee considered many variations on the theme for recognizing contributors, an engraved plaque in the library and the wall, a decorative album on display was considered, and donor names etched in the windows of this library was also considered. Those are a few of the ideas we bantered around. But we cast aside these more traditional methods to opt for an approach that was creative, unique, and reflective of the community's artists and artisans. We hope to have a display that would allow us to add the names of donors who may step forward in the future, because our library, I think, will continue to grow and evolve and develop. We wanted the installation to be inspired by our library, and what better medium than books, of course. This three-dimensional display is all that and more. I think some people have peaked. It was conceived, designed, and fabricated thanks to the creative talents of master carpenter Adrian Nettie, his cruising in the south at the moment, and papier-mâché artist Ryan Microys. Together, they created a work of art that honors our generous donors using faux books, with an accompanying donor album artfully penned using calligraphy by Jane McBurney Racine. And a detail, I would like to thank the donors for telling us how they would like their names to be inscribed in our recognition installation. Some donors preferred to be anonymous, so you will see a few such acknowledgements. And at the conclusion of these opening ceremonies, we'll do the unveiling, and I want you to take the time to find your name either in the inscribed book donated by Mary Lou Rockwell Francis or on the bookshelves. I'd also at this time like to acknowledge and thank Jane Power Grimm and John Percy, who supported Ryan and Adrian in the creation of this installation. It was a project that was done. When it's unveiled, take a close look. I'm not going to reveal too much just yet, but take a close look at the library within a library in this display, because you will be able to spend an hour perusing the books on the upper shelves and also admiring the creative details, celebrating not only the donors, but also this wonderful new library and its staff. No detail is missing, and I must also give us another special thanks to Wayne Boucher for creating a miniature, enhanced replica version of his stunning painting, which is hanging over there. It's still a secret, though. When Ryan and Adrian finished hanging the installation on Wednesday evening, right down to the wire, they told me that not only did they have a great time working together on this project, and I think Ryan stayed up one night until 5 o'clock the next day, working on details, but they were also delighted to have been invited to create this work of art for all to enjoy. It really is a complete piece, you'll see. Now, before we move on to Gary, and then I ask Linda to officially unveil this installation, I'd like to take a moment to thank her as outgoing president of Friends of the Library for the time and the energy she spent on the library project. So Linda, on behalf of the Friends of the Library executives, here is a small token of our appreciation. And you're just going to have to wait a little while longer for the unveiling.
Thank you, Lillian. Now, for those of you who may have been counting with respect to the contributions and the donations and the support of government and the support of members of the community and the county, with a significant investment by the town of Annapolis Royal, you are standing in a nearly $1 million project. And one of the truly remarkable spots in that project is the Innovation Lab. And I will say no more other than to introduce Gary Walsh, who is on the board of directors of the Annapolis Royal Innovation Lab Association.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm actually here wearing a few hats today, but I feel most comfortable when I surround myself with celebrities, and we have a bunch of them here with us today. So that's part of my job. This is actually my busiest weekend of the year. I'm the director of robotics at Acadia University, and our Maritime Championships are going on this weekend. But my staff is absolutely incredible. They know that this is the place that deserves #1 attention right now. I am so proud to be here. I'm proud to be here in a number of areas. Number one, I retired from here. This is where I taught. I started coaching teams here in 1977 and still am in various sports. So this is a place where some of my worlds collide. My first group of celebrities, they don't know I'm going to say this, so they won't forgive me, but when you live in a town where people have done what these kids have done, I think you should know who they are. Yeah. So the present day Royal Robots, could you come out here for just a second?
Hello.
Guys, stand up in front of the podium. Nobody will see me, but that doesn't really count. Now, guys, that's how much clapping you get, and they don't even know what you did yet. Okay, here's what they did. We started robotics in Nova Scotia in 2005. One of the first 2 teams was begun in the cafeteria in there. And we had one of the first 2 teams in the province. And when I took over as director of robotics at Acadia, and all of a sudden the Royal Robots went from being together in 2005 and different generations, and now they're, if we could get the coaches out here, where are Jeff and Paula? Here's what they did. Through all these generations, they have won the Acadia, which is the Maritime Championships, for the last 5 years in a row.
Bravo. Bravo.
And they're all dressed up in garb and branding because they're going to be at the championships again this weekend. So let's wish them all the very best at this year's championship. So thank you to the Royal Robots. Special thank you to Jeff and Paula for putting this together. And that's 5 years so far. Now that's one division. There's also a high school division. I'm going to talk about the high school division at the very end when I bring up my last group. I'd like to also thank the town, Mayor Mack, who was there right from the very beginning, Greg Barr. Not only are you a great leader, but what a pleasure to work with you. You made everything that we did so positive and so rewarding that it couldn't have been done, especially with as much fun as you made to us. So thank you very much, Greg Barr. We'd like to thank all of our supporters, including ACOA, Friends of the Library, the Nicholsons, of course, the architects, and myself. I can actually say here on behalf of all the students who attended the Academy, and many of you graduated actually from the Academy before '77 when AWEC was built. On behalf of all the former students and all the former teachers, I am so proud of what the Academy is today, starting right now. Here's who we partnered with. There's a brand new makerspace at Champlain Elementary School. 3 campuses, Nova Scotia Community College, that's Digby, Shelburne, and Yarmouth. So there could be a hydrodynamics workshop going on in Shelburne. You can take that course right here on our brand new screen and not even be in Shelburne. So we have taken our makerspace and actually rebranded it as the Annapolis Innovation Lab, and it's a hub that really not everything is going to happen here. Things could happen anywhere in the province, but they originate here. So we are the hub of a number of activities that are going to happen province-wide. So that's a one of a kind. Also, our support partners that helped us make this, all the furniture and all the equipment and all the materials happen to be here as a special partnership. They're partners that I have at Acadia Robotics. I have partnered with Staples, I have partnered with Home Depot, etc. And they provided us with all the stuff that we have in here, all the equipment, etc. And if you go in there, you can take all those materials, all the tables, all the benches, and make one giant table out of them because they're all the same height. They're all on wheels because innovation means it doesn't stay the same. So that's going to constantly be in transition. I don't expect it to look the same next week, let alone next year. So everything can be moved around. Creative and innovative. Brilliant Labs helped us out right from the very beginning. When I talked to the staff from Brilliant Labs, and Sarah Ryan heads it up, even before we had our committees together, I phoned them because Sarah is in every Brilliant Labs in the province. She told us, here's where you need attention. You need to take care of staffing. You got to hire somebody. And we did. You got to take care of the type of space. You got to decide it's going to be technology or is it going to be construction? Because wood dust and computers don't get along. So we have a number of things going on in our community, whether it's welding or carpentry or different types of skills that originate here, but 15 people could be over learning how to weld with Brad Hall, etc. Okay, so everything originates from here. It makes it really nice. Also, the list that I gave to Sarah, she tweaked it, said, here's what you should go with, and then we formed our committee and then ended up with what we have in the lab right now. This is where I introduced the committee. So what happened is, in the summer of 2017, Linda came to me and she said, Gary, could you chair a committee for me? And then she told me what it was for. I said, sure, I'd love to. Who's on the committee? Well, she said, well, you haven't picked them yet now, have you? So what I did is I wasn't looking for someone that we hopefully could get some work done with. I'm involved in so many things. I know a lot of people that are so responsible for so many success stories that I grabbed onto them, and then we had the power to add. So we had a number of people come forward. But these are the people that worked with us, that did the funding, did the layout, organized everything so that the footprint you see in there today is the reason for this committee. I'd like to call upon Jeff Hafting, Eric Smith, Dylan Tonkin, and Grant Slynn. And they're the reason for our success story. That's the truth. So we're missing Derek and we're missing Dylan, but we had a 3-month window to work with, and we met every week to make it happen. So let's have a big round of applause for the committee. My final group that I'd like to bring in is the present day board. So this is the final hat that I'm going to wear. So I was the chair of that committee. Now I'm the president of the Innovation Lab, but I promised Linda, I said I would stay on, but once the first AGM comes, I'm gonna proudly just step aside, and then I'll come in and teach some kids how to do some programming and stuff like that, but my job is done. But I surrounded myself with some great people. Take a look at this. Linda Moffat, come on up here. You're the one that started this all off. Charlotte James. Jeff Hampton, our lab supervisor, Jeff Peemer, And these two people are not here today, so you're going to have to clap really loud for them to hear you. Owen Elliott and Derek Smith. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the board of the directors, and what you see today is a result of all the work that they have put together. So I am so very proud to work with such a great group of people. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for the board. Final thing I'd like to say is thank you to the community. I mean, there's no better place in the world to be. Well, today there's no place better to be than right here, right? But anytime you want, I mean, this is for all ages. How much learning is going to take place between that wall over there and that wall over there is going to be incredible over the years to come. So on behalf of all of us, the board, the committee, and everybody, thank you very much. Thank you.
So now, I don't know if I should really steal your thunder, but you forgot something. You know, you said you had a few words to say, and you did. But you forgot something. You marshaled the robotics team out here, and you told that they had won all these things at Acadia. You forgot to say that they are the world champions in robotics.
I do have one last thing to say. Could I ask Mr. Finn Hafting to come here, please? Now, here's where my worlds collide, okay? Now, Finn, I started working with Finn when his hair was the same length, but he was about this tall. He was in elementary school. So, in another hat, I'm president of Karate Nova Scotia. Finn is one of the top students in the province. He's just getting ready to go for his Shodan. For those who don't know, that's first degree black belt. Okay? He's also a Loran Scholarship winner. Which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud. And yes, there is something else very important. Finn not only captained the Royal Robots when he was in junior high to our championships and on to the World Championships, but last year, what happens at our robotics championships is top teams in our championships go directly to the World Championships. So Finn captained the team this year in May in Southfield, Michigan, at Lawrence Technological University, where the World Championships were, and he and his squad brought back not only the gold medal for first place in the unknown mission challenge, which is by far the most difficult because you don't know what you have to do until you get there, but in the other game competitions, so they entered 2 competitions, they won the silver medal. So they came second in the world, but by George, they're the world champions. So a big round of applause for them.
That was worth the wait, right? Absolutely. So, to have a look at the schedule here, I think actually we are down to the point where the great reveal, Lillian and Linda. And so if you could, if the ocean could just part to allow them to get to the other end. And Lillian's just going to say a few words here.
I just want to say what was famously unveil it. We did practice, so we'll give it a whirl. And I'd also like to just mention that Hannah Bishop, who's the granddaughter of Wayne Boucher and Terry Roscoe, is going to assist Linda once she takes the curtain off with the second part of the big reveal.
Shall I do it? So now, so that you don't just leave, hang on a minute, Linda. This is not the end of the event. We want you to stay behind. We want you to have coffees and sweets. But Linda Moffat, Ashley Moffat, I should say, is Little Miss Moffat is playing and performing, and perhaps Linda is too, is performing in the large programming room. So you don't want to miss that. So she's been very patient. She was to start at 11:30, and some of us have just talked on too long, and I accept full responsibility for that as the MC. But don't go away. Enjoy this. This is truly remarkable. Does the reveal happen? Yes. All right, okay. So would all the speakers please come to the podium for photographs? Thank you. Andrew Tolson, are you somewhere in the room? And please tour the premises and be sure to enjoy the music a little.
Well, folks, you've heard it here. Community Hub is open. Great space. Thank you for watching, and invite you to come here to Annapolis Royal and visit this great area. So pretty crowded in here. But I'll just finish by saying Al Melanson, Historical Association of Annapolis Royal, and Explorer Guide. Bye-bye.